What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's YouTube Live and the podcast. I'm RD. Welcome to the Waterfowl Den. Man, it's been a busy week. Hopefully, y'all ain't in some of these storms. Man, I'm gonna start the this week's off with the weather. Man, it is like crazy. Um, I don't know if people been paying attention or know what's going on, but let's throw this up to start with because if you're anywhere, I'm pretty much going to say anywhere in Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Nashville, all the way up to, I don't know, Chicago. Um, yeah, you're probably going to see a tornado. Like, I mean, let me zoom up here. And I know if you're listening to this on podcast, you're not going to see this. But all these reds are tornado warnings. I mean, there are tornadoes been dropping left and right everywhere. This area right here that I'm circling with my mouse, which you really can't see, probably too much, but Dyersburg, Union City, um, this is up here near Reelfoot Lake, like Tippinsville, a Reelfoot Lake is a real big hunting area. It's going to get hammered, 100% hammered. Man, so many people down here in Arkansas has already got it, Mississippi. So, if y'all are anywhere in this area, you need to be weather aware. You need to be paying attention. You need to have multiple sources of weather because this is going to go all night long. Like 2, 3, 4 a.m. This is not going anywhere. Now, for us over here in the east, what we would call the east, but it would be the south, it's going to start ramping up here shortly for us in Georgia and South Carolina. So we're going to be getting some of this weather tonight also, but this is going to be an outbreak for a couple days here. I mean, y'all know me. I love following the weather. But this right here, all these tornado warnings and stuff, it's unreal. So if you know somebody in this area, check up on them. Like I said, I know some people over here in Reelfoot Lake, big area for duck hunting. Um, if you ever been to Reelfoot Lake, you know that not too long ago they had a tornado come through and take out half of the this was during waterfowl season. Took out a lot of the town. I think maybe two duck hunters got killed during that. But I mean, they are that whole area of Tennessee. Oof. So definitely starting off the episode tonight with these warnings. So if you anywhere in this all the way up, you definitely need to be paying attention tonight for sure. Especially especially if you going to bed. You know, I know a lot of y'all, not me, but some of the ladies, they like to keep their phone on vibrate. Tonight ain't one of them nights to keep your phone on vibrate. It is definitely one of them nights to keep all your notifications up. Um, just not feeling it tonight. It's going to be kind of a short episode tonight. Uh, got a lot going on. It's just one of them weeks. I'm just going to be straight up, not bubbly. Just not feeling it. Today is the second, so some people follow me on different platforms. Um, some people know that at one time I was a firefighter, and started out as a firefighter and then got first responder and then moved over into the EMS world. I had my certification. I gave it up. Let's see, 31st. So Monday. Monday was the last day that I didn't renew. So that's been on my mind. And then today's the second. And just just been a, a long week. Uh, kind of remember my father also. He passed away 4 years ago, so that's on my mind. So it's not going to be a long episode, but what I do want to say, uh, some of you know that I was going hunting for a turkey down in Texas. That did happen. That was achieved. Um, Pretty much, we're going to talk about that tonight and then call it a quit. Actually, before coming up here, I really thought that there was going to be a bad storm. Uh, it shifted a little bit on the radar, and we missed it. But there for a minute or two, I didn't even know if we was going to have power the way it was looking on radar. But it missed us, so here we are. You get to see my lovely face that's made for radio. But we've been talking about it for a while that I booked a trip to Texas probably 3 weeks ago. I had Jeff on, who is the owner of Stanfield Lodge, where I was going to hunt for this Rio turkey. I am trying to um, get the slam, not the grand slam, just the slam. I'm trying to get all four species of the turkeys. I don't know if I ever make it down there into Mexico to get that grand slam, but I can officially say I am 50% of the way of getting the slam. So let's see. This was a quick trip. Now, like I'm gonna have to lay it out, but it was a quick trip. So I left Thursday because opening weekend of turkey season in the upper part of Texas was this past weekend. It opened on Saturday, so this was the opener. Um, so I left on a Thursday. I drove all the way to Shreveport, Mississippi. I could have easily got into Texas, but remember there's a time change, so I lost an hour. It was already almost dark, and I didn't feel like driving further into the dark. Plus, I already made it. If you know where Shreveport is like 5 miles, maybe a little bit more, but no more than 10 from the Texas state line. So I get to Shreveport and I say, hey, I'm gonna sleep here for the night. I get a hotel. Um, Wake up the next morning. All I needed to do was I think it was about 6.5 hours. Um, you got two ways to go to this lodge. It's in Knox City. You can either go around Dallas, which would add probably about an hour, I say, maybe an hour and a half to the trip, or you go straight through Dallas. And the way I figured it, I would miss lunchtime rush hour, and I needed to go to Bass Pro Shop to get my hunting license. Now, hunting license was an adventure all by itself. I tried to get my hunting license in advance, like well in advance, like a month ago, and I couldn't get them online. And I called them. I called the 1-800 number, like I've been to Texas. I've hunted waterfowl in Texas. There's many states that I go to that I get my license from. So I do not like to show up and not have my license. Uh, It's a multiple states over. You just don't want to drive halfway across the country and arrive and not have any license. So I called the 1-800 number, and the lady was like, "No, that's something you have to get in person. You can't do it because you got to get the tags." And I'm like, "I can't pre-do them and y'all mail them?" She's like, "No, that's not how we do them." I'm like, "Lady, I really don't want to drive from South Carolina all the way to Texas before I get my license." And she's like, "Well, I'm sorry, that's how it works." And I said, "Okay, it's not on you." So here I am. I'm finally getting into Texas. I go through Dallas, and let me tell you, if you never went through Dallas, I highly, highly, highly recommend you don't. It is almost worth the hour, hour and a half to drive around Dallas. Um, Most people in the South would know Atlanta, and Atlanta is a cakewalk. Atlanta would be like a daily trip to your Walmart compared to Dallas. Like literally on the way back, I recorded the whole trip. I threw the camera on the dash and recorded the trip coming back through Dallas. Just it's going to be a video by itself because it's insane. It honestly, I have never drove. This would be my fourth time going through Dallas, and every time I say I'm not going through Dallas, I'm not doing it. But then I end up through Dallas, so I don't even listen to myself. But it's crazy. So I went through Dallas, and then in between Dallas and Fort Worth, I hit up a Bass Pro Shop, went in there and got my license, and then was back on the road. So I arrived at the lodge, I think around 3 o'clock Friday. Um, the lodge, I got videos of it. So all this is gonna be videoed or video. All of this is going to be on a video so y'all can see it. But I show up at the lodge, and since it's turkey season, they don't take on a whole lot of clients. So the lodge was, I was the only one there. Um, Typically during waterfowl season, the lodge is really jumping. They have a dining hall, great food. But since again I was the only one there, and I knew it, um, supper and meals were on me. So around 5 o'clock, I said, "Well, I'm going to drive into town, which is Knox City, which has a population of like 1,000 people." I record and I go into town, I record so you can see the town, and I stop at grocery store, get me something to eat. I go back to the lodge, um, obviously eat. I watch a couple basketball games and I call it a night. Um, I wake up at 4 o'clock Saturday morning because I needed to meet Andy, who was going to be the guide. Um, most people may know Andy from the Big Honker podcast and stuff. I was meeting him at a gas station. I was going to jump in and ride with him. So I met him, jumped in the truck, we drove down the road, getting this field. And it was still early, like dark early. And man, the coyotes like were howling in the background, owls just a busting off, turkeys gobbling. And I'm like, man, this is gonna be good. Yeah, this is what I came for. Now I know not a whole lot about a Rio turkey. I mean, pretty much the only place a Rio is in Texas. Um, so it's not like I know a lot about Rios. I know more about Easterns because it's what we have. Um, so the sun's starting to come up. He's like, I've been watching them. I know where they're at. So let's go down this way. Let's set up here. He's like, they're going to probably come down this road. Let's put the decoys out here. I want you to sit here. I'm going to sit behind you and call. I mean, typical what you would think turkey hunting. Um, the sun starts coming up. You know, as a hunter, one of the good things that we get to experience, and what I like to tell people all the time, as you know, a working person, we miss this part of God's creation of morning wake up. Like if you're a deer hunter, turkey hunter, duck hunter, um, you get to wake up nature. Like when it's in the dark and the stars are out, you may hear some coyotes. Occasionally, we hear coyotes where we at too. Um, Mother Nature wakes up. Occasionally, you'll hear a bird or an owl, and then more the sun comes up, the more the world itself wakes up. You know, that's why I explain to people all the time. You know, we miss that so much in life. Like Monday through Friday, we're getting dressed, getting kids to school, hurry up to work. Man, Monday through Friday, typically, psh, I miss the sunrise. Like I miss pretty much what God gives me every single day. Totally probably miss it majority of the day, most of the time. So when I'm hunting, to hear Mother Nature wake up is unreal. Like these people that do it every day, like these people that take a couple months off just to turkey hunt. Um, I can't imagine how awesome that would be. Um, but as soon as the sun started coming up, man, these gobblers were gobbling. I mean, just gobbling their heads off, and the sun wasn't even up. Like these birds were still on the roost. Like you knew they were on still on the roost. You could still hear the voice. The gobbles were still up high. Like you didn't hear any of them come down. Um, they were still up there. But behind me, I'm facing where they're gobbling. I mean, probably 75 yards, if that. And Andy's behind me with the call, and all I hear is like that, like he was trying to get my attention, but I already heard there was a bird behind us. So this turkey came from behind us, walked up. I don't know because at the time I had two cameras going. I had two GoPros going. I had one that was on the end of the gun facing me, and I haven't went back and looked at the footage yet because I'm telling you this. I pretty much just got back. Um, I haven't looked at all the footage, but the turkey comes. So, like I'm facing the camera here. The turkey comes from behind us over here, and I got my gun facing where they supposed to come out. So here I am with the barrel this way, and I got to turn 180 degrees. And when I say this bird is 10 feet from me, he's 10 feet from me. And I did not want to spook this bird. So, every time I would see him kind of turn, I'm going to say he. We'll get to that. Every time I see the bird kind of turn, I also would turn. I would turn. I would turn. And I mean, this bird was right on the decoys. So when this bird came up, I do eventually get this bird on the GoPro. But all I could see at the very beginning was the beard just sticking straight out. And I'm like, man, this is a Jake. I said, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a bearded hen. Now in Texas, you can hunt bearded hens in the springtime. I'm like, well, I don't want a bearded hen. I'm waiting for this bird to, strut right at the decoys. Now, also what I've read and heard, Rios, because the terrain is so rough out in Texas, that they lose a lot of beard. So I'm like, well, I need to know for sure if this is a male. I mean, if it ever fans out, like I'm gonna find out. But this bird never done anything. Like it came up to the decoys, just really didn't pay it no attention, and kind of moved off, which I was glad. In one stance, I was glad because it was so far to my left and where I was sitting with a tree, I still wouldn't have been able to do a great shot. And then that bird finally moves on, and I sit there, which feels like 10 hours, but it was really more like 5 minutes or something like that, maybe 10. Sitting there, and then you start second guessing yourself. Well, was that the only bird that came in? Was that a tom? Was it a hen? Was it Jake? Was it a full grown that just had beard rot, or just the beard wasn't there? And it's like, man, I drove all the way out here, and you just start second guessing yourself the whole time. And all them birds that were gobbling, they were not gobbling anymore. I'm like, well, were they not gobbling because the coyotes were howling? Like, turkeys are smart. Turkeys know that, hey, as soon as I'm born, something's trying to eat me all the time. Maybe when they hit the ground, they quit hollering. They quit gobbling. But about 10 minutes in, they start firing up again, and they right back where they were. I mean, you could tell that they were on the ground at this point, and they were just a gobbling, 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 gobbling. And now here I am, like looking at this other camera, but I'm looking at this camera thinking, this is where they coming from, right here. This is it. This is gonna be it. I know they're gonna be coming. It's getting louder, yeah. And then the next thing I know, they pop out over here on a fence line. And it wasn't just one. 11 turkeys pop out of this fence line. And one of them, and you could tell that was, the leader of the group, because that joker, as soon as he just starts running towards the decoy, he's looking for a fight. He spreads out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm looking at this bird, and I'm like, yeah, that ain't a Jake. Everything's all the tail feathers is rounded. Man, I'm on this bird. This bird's coming at me along with 11 other birds, and he goes right into the middle of the birds. I mean, I'm on him, and then he bobs, and then he weaves, and then he does a circle, and he's bobbing and weaving in between all these other birds. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm talking about, while he's bobbing and weaving, they're coming. And if he's 20 yards, and I'm saying if, it might have been 15, two birds move out of the way. He flares out, and that TSS rolled that turkey. And I'm talking about, he didn't even flop. It wasn't even a flop. It was a stone cold DRT, dead right there. He was DRT'd. All them birds jump up. They looking around. They were like, where'd Bob go? Bob. That jerk, I'm telling you, boy. At that point, I just sit there, because these turkeys didn't go anywhere. Like, they are there. I didn't want to, like, jump up. I didn't have to go put my foot on that turkey. He was dead. Didn't have to go out there and chase it. And it was like, there's no use to educate these other birds. We're just gonna let them go on. Made for great video, awesome to watch. But man, what a heck of an experience. So eventually the birds go, they move back on, get the bird, go back to the lodge, pack my stuff up, which would have been a Saturday. That was Saturday, because that was opening day. Somewhere around 10 o'clock, I had all my stuff packed up, put some ice in the cooler, head back to South Carolina. Now, coming back was a different story. So coming back, I hit Dallas somewhere around 2 o'clock ish on a Saturday. Probably terrible decision. Yeah, probably well aware of that. And you know that rule of don't go through Dallas. I broke my own rule and went through Dallas. But I was trying to beat these storms that were coming. Um, Sunday was supposed to be bad weather, in which it was. But Saturday had chances of rain, but I was guaranteed that I was going to outrun them storms. But Sunday was definitely going to be some storms. So I go through Dallas, I kid you not, Dallas is 12 lanes. Hey Jay, welcome. Dallas is 12 lanes. It is whew, all I know is in a couple weeks I'm going to get a ticket in the mail for being in the express lane. Don't know how much that's going to be because I ended up in the express lane on a toll road. So if you ever most places have toll lanes that run beside the interstate, well, somehow, and I kid you not, with these bridges, it put me on this side where the toll lane was. I couldn't get over to get into the interstate, so I ended up in the toll lane. And I honestly don't even know how many of them little tag reader things I went through that say, "Hey, this section of road is going to cost this much, and we're going to send you a bill in the mail." Plus, when you don't have one of them little readers and they send you a bill in the mail, it typically costs twice as much as if you have one of them little readers. But it is what it is. And as soon as I could get off of the express lane, I did merge over and get over. But yeah, I'm telling you, going into Dallas, I was going into Dallas and I use Waves, and Waves said recalculating, exit now. So I exited, and when I looked up on Waves, you could see where the road is red, and it'll tell you how long it's going to be before you pass, how long it's expecting you to get there. And I could see down the road, and I'm like, that is bumper to bumper for miles. So it takes me through downtown Dallas, and which was quick. It probably saved me hours, but I ended up downtown Dallas. I ended up in some underground tunnel, roadage, passage. Couldn't really tell you where I was at in Dallas, but ended up downtown. Come back out the other side and eventually got out of Dallas. But wow, I I don't think if I go back to Texas, I don't think I'm going through Dallas no more. But so that was that was Saturday. So Saturday I drove all the way to Monroe, Louisiana. That is where Duck Dynasty is filmed. Their headquarters, which is now a museum, is in Monroe. I think it may be West Monroe, but it's in Monroe, Louisiana. And I probably stayed at a hotel a half a mile from from the Duck Dynasty Museum. I did not get to Monroe in time to see the museum. That makes 3 times me going right by Duck Dynasty and not be able to go in the museum. I've been in the parking lot twice, but never been inside the museum. But I said, let let's talk to the wife. I think it was around, let's say, 8 o'clock ish. So I called the wife and said, "Hey, I really like to get to Mississippi. What do you see in hotel wise around Jacksonville?" She looks it up. She's like, no, it wasn't Jacksonville. It was oh man, it's right on the line of Mississippi. I cannot even think of it. It's a military. Oh, brain's dead. Anyway, I said, look there. And she's like, I don't really see anything that looks good enough for you to stay. I said, okay, well, look in Jacksonville. That's only like 45 more minutes. I'd get there about 9:45. No big deal. She looked and she's like, well, they're this price. I said, well, what? Man, that's more than it was in Monroe. She was like, yeah. I said, well, look up Monroe. I'm literally driving through Monroe now. Look up Monroe. She looks up Monroe. She was like, hey, the hotel you stayed in last time, I get a free night. So I was like, not sounds like a deal to me. So I whipped it off the exit ramp, looped back up. In 2 minutes, I was at the hotel. But since it was Saturday, even with me staying in Monroe, a half a mile from Duck Dynasty, you know they're not open on Sunday. They are very religious. Also, so you knew that they weren't going. The museum wasn't going to be open on Sunday. But I did at least look just in case. But it was closed on Sunday, so that makes another time that I literally was in the parking lot and still can't see the Duck Dynasty museum. Maybe one day. So stay for the night. Get up next morning, which would have been Sunday, and I drive from West Monroe all the way back to South Carolina. Uh, got into a couple of storms, not bad, but you know how some storms are, especially on the interstate, and some of the bigger cities. Um, when it's really heavy, the interstate just kind of like slows down tremendously, and I got in the two sections that pretty much just stopped. And I literally hate stopping on the interstate because I always feel like I'm gonna get rear-ended by like semis, and like I think I probably watched Final Destination too many times. But I feel like you're gonna get rear-ended by 18 wheelers not being able to slow down. But didn't have any problems. Got on into Atlanta probably around 3 o'clock, something like that. 3, 4 o'clock. That is the quickest I have ever drove through Atlanta. Like I don't I I don't recall ever driving through Atlanta that peaceful. I kid you not. I went from one side to Atlanta all the way to the other side of Atlanta in probably like 15 minutes. Like I would say the speed limit, but you know, if you ever drive through Atlanta, nobody does the speed limit. I was doing exactly what the other vehicles were doing, but it was no bumper to bumper. Didn't even have to put on brakes. Didn't come to a stop. I'm talking about it looked like the scene of The Walking Dead where you see Atlanta where all the cars are empty and it's just a one lane. That's what it looked like. It reminded me of watching The Walking Dead, and I just blew right by through Atlanta. But once I got out of Atlanta, I got into some more rain, and that slowed me down a little bit. But hey, I got home eventually because here I am in the studio. But it was a great trip. I mean, literally, pretty much was driving. Like driving. I went to accomplish getting a Rio. So check. And this is what I got here. So I'm gonna throw it up on the screen here real quick. I gotta open it first. So this was it. The main thing that I definitely did not want out there in Texas, I did not whatsoever want to see, hear, smell a snake. Like 100%. I have flashbacks from the last time I went to out to Texas. Uh, literally right there. I almost got bit by a rattlesnake, and when I say almost bit by a rattlesnake, as in the rattlesnake should have bit me, but the good Lord had to shut that rattlesnake's mouth. Like literally, I kid you not. I'm not even making it up. It's on a video somewhere. Um, if you know Dallas, Oklahoma, in the afternoons, the wind is blowing at a Mach speed of like 40 something miles per hour. I mean, that's where all the wind turbines are because it's windy. Uh, Out there dove hunting. Well, I went out there goose hunting, which would have been early November, I think. This was like actually it was that spec right there. But I think that was 2 years ago. I think that was two waterfowl seasons ago. So in the afternoons, you had the opportunity to go dove hunting. So I was like, hey, I'm out here. I ain't got nothing else to do. I might as well go dove hunting. Literally the best dove hunting I have ever out of all the years I dove hunt. And I love dove hunting just as much as anything else. Um, them birds were fat. And when they were flying with the wind, they were fighter jets. They make for the waterfowl people, they make teal look like they're flying slow. That's how fast these doves were flying. Um, I shot a dove and it just landed like right over here. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go get my dove, and I got the GoPro on top of my head, and I got my earbuds in, like earbuds in, and like I said, the wind was blowing 40 miles per hour. So when I'm going to go get that bird, and you can see in the GoPro the corn stalk of where the snake is, because you can see the snake as I'm walking up, but I didn't see it. I get up to it and I hear that joker rattling through the wind, through my earbuds. I jump back, I shoot, because I mean he is curled up and rattling, and I mean he was not happy, which then made two of us because then I was not happy. And I literally went back and looked at it on the GoPro, less than a foot. And now granted I did not have my snake boots on because I went waterfowl hunting. I was out there in just regular blue jeans and tennis shoes. Now, granted, this time when I went, I 100% had my snake boots. I wasn't anticipating a snake boot during waterfowl season. Now, granted, that was probably on me for thinking, hey, dummy, you were out there in the wilderness of Texas where it's 1,000 degrees, but it didn't cross my mind. Plus, I wasn't planning to go dove hunting, but had to be less than a foot. Like 100%, that snake didn't bite me. I had an angel that day for sure. So when I went this time turkey hunting, I knew it was going to be warm. I knew they were already going to be out, and that was 100% uh, on my mind. Like, I'm not even going to be afraid to tell you, I was a little scared of snakes. Well, I'm not a little afraid of snakes. I'm terrified of snakes. Uh, Rats, um, spiders, other creatures don't bother me. A snake, I will run like a little girl. And if you're around me, uh, yeah, I'm terrified of a snake. Don't like them. And yep, that's pretty much it. But so here is the Rio. Beautiful bird, beautiful. I mean, like the colors of this bird was, I mean, just spectacular. Um, Really pretty colors down here. When I say I leveled that turkey, uh, if you look to the right, you will see feathers. Um, right in here, that would be his chest feathers, and the more you touched them, the more they fell out. That TSS 100% flopped this bird, and like when I say wait to the video for you to see, wow, Salt Creek makes some excellent TSS. He was stone cold DRT, dead right there. Um, so we got the Rio. The Rio was there, and I got it checked off the box. And since Jay's in here, Jay, you know what the deal is, son. Next year, we're working on it. Jay, where we going next year, Jay? Go ahead and put in that comment. We're gonna go. Hopefully, we're working on it. We got to scratch off one more next year. But I get back to South Carolina Sunday, and like I said, I had this. Thank you, Jeff. I had this bird in the cooler and on ice, so I drop it off at the taxidermist, and the taxidermist has my bird from last year done. So this was actually my first turkey shot ever. Um, I hunted. This would be my that would have been my fourth year turkey hunting. Um, got very close. Now a lot of public land hunting. Um, that bird right there was private, but where I live, there's not a whole lot of turkeys. Like you either going to have private or you're hunting public along with everybody else, and it's really hard to hunt turkeys. Uh, this turkey that I got on the screen, I got on a video. Um, it was the last weekend of turkey season. Last year, it was the last day of turkey season, last weekend of turkey season. I've got really close to getting some birds, and I was like, well, just not going to get it this year. It's just going to be another year that just not going to get a turkey. Jeff, the Rio was in Knott City, Texas, out there almost near you. So this one here, I'm like, it's gonna be the last weekend. My buddy told me, hey, you can come hunt on our land. Don't know if there's any birds out there, but hey, go knock it out. So I arrived that morning real early, and I get to the gate and I'm walking in. This bird is gobbling his head off. I'm talking about gobbling in the dark. I'm like, man, this is gonna be it. I'm like, whoo, this is gonna be it. I sit down at the tree, I turn the GoPros on, I pull where my shotgun obviously I don't have with me. Uh your sling, you have like where your shells go. I keep a striker there. Um I sit there, I pull out my call. There is no striker. I left the striker in the truck. I'm like, it's not gonna be that bad. I pull out my box. It was also in the truck. I said, you gotta be kidding me. I run back to the truck. Now, I am built like a flat nosed, great white Peterbilt truck, from the 70s, the ones that the windshield is flat with the bumper. That is how I'm built. I run like a semi. I sound like a semi. I am built for distance, not for speed. But I run back to the truck. I grab my striker. I grab my box call. I'm running back, and at this time, I done got out of every bit of wind I had. I am now walking. This turkey is still gobbling his head off. The sun's already starting to come up, and I knew um, that this bird was going to be on the ground by the time I got back. Man, I get back. He's on the ground. I'm calling. He's a coming running. Um, this joker blows up at the tree. I mean, he just full strut, and I lay into him, and I literally achieve my first bird with all of the mistakes that I made. So this year, uh, thanks to Jay, I now have two calls. So my vest will always have two calls in them. I bought extra strikers. So um, hopefully my mistake will not happen again. Um, so that's how that bird ended. But I did pick it up at the taxidermist, and I told him when I dropped it off, I said, I'm going to leave this Rio here with you. I want the exact same mount done. I'm going to mount them side by side. Well, when I come home and I put this one on the wall, there is no room for a second one. So the Rio will be mounted, but it's going to be instead of square, it's going to be a triangle with some type of pretty much like that. The wings won't be as stretched out as far, but um, that was last year's turkey. So I can't wait to get the Rio back. Um, so that's how that goes. So what did Jay say? My travel agent is watching and says I haven't consulted her on this yet. Oh, I was talking about us going to get that um, sushi again, Jeff. I mean, Jay, that's what I was talking about. We were going to go scratch off that sushi at the Chinese restaurant. Uh, that's what I was talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. We were going to go scratch off going back down and getting that all you can eat buffet. If she's not watching now, we got to we got to talk about our plan, man. We got to get on it. Jeff, do you have some Marians out there with you? I'm looking for a Marion too. That's gonna be the last one. That's gonna be the slam. I'm gonna need the Marion. Uh, too late. Yes, she is. Whoops. Miss Bridges, would you like to go to the Chinese buffet with us? Because I was really talking about all you can eat sushi at the Chinese. So Jeff, what kind of turkeys? Mostly hybrids. Yeah, we gotta get us a Marion. That's gonna be hopefully the two year bird. Hopefully the next one would be the Florida bird, and then maybe in the Marion um in 2 years. That's the goal. I seen a guide that have talking about my striker. There's my striker. I need to put that with my call because turkey season starts Friday, and that's literally 2 days from now. So this wouldn't be this and this would not be a good combination up here in the duck boat. So these are going downstairs with me when I go downstairs. Uh, there was a guy I was listening to a podcast on my way to Texas, which was talking about strikers, and this guy handmade strikers. He talked about how many woods he made strikers out of, the tips he made strikers out of, and he talked about everything about these strikers. Uh, Basically, this piece down here, this is a two piece because the wood don't match. For one, you can see that, but this back part here, which most people may not even know, and I really didn't pay it no attention there. This is a counterbalance, like so when you're holding it and you're moving it, this is supposed to balance and take the effort off of your striker. And he talked about the round tips. He talked about you need to clean the tips. Don't be rubbing it on and getting oil from your fingers on the tip, because then that defeats the purpose. I mean, he goes into way more about a striker than I ever knew. It was a very interesting podcast, and I really couldn't tell you which one it was on because I listened to, I don't even remember how many on my way to Texas, like a bunch of them. But yeah, it was very interesting. He did make calls, but he was mostly known for his strikers, and he was a big time caller, um, striker manufacturer. Well, not really manufactured because they were hands one offs, but um, he made strikers for people that do competition. There we go. Burn the tip and sand it. And that's what he said. He said, sand the tip, but also don't forget to get the dust off of where you sand it, because then you don't get your friction. And I mean, like, really great episode. I'm sure you probably can Google and find it, but it was unreal. The strikers. He says every time he goes on a hunt, he takes his two calls and five strikers. Um, he said he takes five strikers that matches that call, because he can then sound like five different turkeys while he was out there. And I'm like, I never really thought about that. If you're out there by yourself and nobody else is calling for you, if you had striker A, which would be one piece of wood, and then you switch to a different striker, which would make a total different sound, you're basically making different hens, purrs, and sounds to make it sound like there's more turkeys in that area. So I thought that was very interesting. Never really thought about it like that. So definitely this year, that's going to be something I'm going to do. He talked about taking care of uh, your calls, how to sand them, which some people do different directions. He talked about that, but it was a very interesting podcast. I learned a lot, and I'm still learning with turkey season, turkey hunting. Like I said before, I grew up in a house where you deer hunted. We didn't turkey hunt. We didn't duck hunt. It was deer hunting, and so I'm in my late 40s learning how to turkey hunt. I definitely don't move as fast as I probably could have in my 20s, but hey, here we are. So this weekend is opening turkey season for us. Last weekend was youth day, and I didn't get to go because I was in Texas. But yeah, I see what you're saying, Mom. But hopefully, I do this year. I want to hunt on Saturdays. I want to hunt public land, and on Sunday mornings, I want to hunt private. I really, 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 really want to get a bird on public land this year. Did you shoot the Rio with the 10 gauge? No, I did not. The 10 gauge was a borrowed gun. The guy that was in that video, my buddy, he was the one that owns that BPS, and no. Uh, when you see this video of the 12 gauge with the TSS that dropped that turkey, I honestly, I think that the 10 gauge would have done a lot of damage. Like literally, Jeff, I am not making this up. When I took this to the taxidermist, that was on Sunday. I went back the next day to pick up that bird, so that would have been Monday. He was skinning out my Rio, and he said, I have never seen pellets fall out of a bird like it is done. He said, I've been mounting turkeys for 20 years. He said, I have never seen pellets in the butt of a turkey. And at this point, he's already seen the video, and I got the video, and I just can't show it because we're live. This turkey wasn't running away by any means. The bird, that TSS hit that bird so hard that the bird flipped backwards, and I guess the shot stream was so long that as he was flipping backwards, he was getting pellets shot in the butt at the same time. Like it wasn't going head. Like the turkey legs had TSS in them. The bone had TSS in them. I'm talking about stone cold dead. Now granted, like I said, maybe 10 yards, maybe 15. He was well into the 20 yards. Well into the 20 yards. Uh I could have easily threw my striker and hit that bird. That's how close this bird was. That Keats choke, I had the Keats choke turkey gobbler 660 because this was a Stoger. It was a 660. So I mean it was a decent little tightness, but I personally, when you watch this video, when that bird fans out the first time, that's where I wanted to take the shot, but he was on the move and was running. Like he had a mission to take out that decoy, and he was on that mission 100%. And I wanted to shoot beforehand, but there was too many birds. He was bobbing and weaving. Should make for a great video. Um, Today is Wednesday. It's not going to be this weekend, but hopefully by next weekend I will have that video done because I'm going turkey hunting this weekend. So I will not be putting that video together before this weekend. So maybe next week y'all will be able to see it. So Jay said, got to get in the bed. Outage over tomorrow. Thank the Lord it's this weekend. So Jay, I know there's some storms down there in Georgia. So y'all be safe down there for sure. Uh, just had probably shot clean through it. I, I'm, I don't know, Jeff. Literally, I seen it with my eyes too. Like the back of the thighs had it, the pellets in it, and it didn't look like it went through it. Uh, it literally looked like the way the bird flipped. It looked like the shot string just hammered it. Which that TSS has got like I don't know, like 400 plus pellets in it. I mean, like I don't even know how many pellets in it. It is crazy the pellet count. It wasn't the 1,000 pellets like the 10 gauge. With the 10 gauge, man, if I would have took that 10 gauge out there, my goodness, I could have felt like airing my foot out there and took all 11 of them out with one shot. I mean, 1,000 pellets. Woo! But that 10 gauge stayed at the house. I honestly, I wanted to take the 10 gauge just to say 10 gauge and show that TSS. Uh, I honestly, he probably would have let me take it, no questions asked. I just did not feel comfortable taking a person's gun that I never really shot a whole lot of on a trip where I knew that I wasn't going to get a lot of shooting. I wanted to take something I was comfortable with, something in the dark, you putting the shell in, how it's going to work, where the safety is. It's just my turkey gun. I'm familiar with it, so that was the only reason I didn't really take the 10 gauge. But hopefully he gets a turkey this year with that 10 gauge because there's 2 shells left. So I can't wait to see what that 10 gauge can do. But man, it's been a heck of a week. Like I said, Jeff, I don't know if you came. I know you came in. Obviously, you're in the chat. I don't know when you came in when me explaining uh, when I went on my Texas trip. I left on a Thursday. I got to Texas on a Friday afternoon. Ate, went to sleep, woke up Saturday morning, shot the bird back in the truck, everything packed on a Saturday, and drove back and got home Sunday. So from my house to Texas was roughly 1,300 miles, and then 1,300 miles back. So in let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, 4 days. 4 days. 20 was that 13, 2,600 miles. And yeah, in my mid 40s, I felt, I felt that. I definitely could tell, not in my 20s anymore. The driving the many hours and yeah, but crazy. Had a blast though. I mean, it was great lodge, great people, um, awesome birds. I really do enjoy Knott City. It's a small town. Kind of reminds me of some of our small towns in South Carolina, where everybody waves and everybody's, going down the road like that. Pretty awesome. Um, yep, Jeff, I went by myself. Kind of hard. Some people ain't into the chasing turkeys, like chasing the slam. I really want to get the slam done, and it's hard to talk, other people in. Hey, take a well, because at this time, um, I was planning on 2 days driving, 2 days hunting, 2 days coming back. So that's 6 days. It's hard to talk people into hey, take a week of vacation. Let's spend money to go hunt a turkey that you may or may not get. And so yeah, not too many people I could persuade into that craziness. So yeah, I went by myself. But good Lord kept me safe, and I only saw a couple crazy people out there. Just said I don't want to be by myself that long. I'm telling you, man, it's not really that bad. It's the uncomfortable of the seat that's probably the worst. But I listen to, I don't even know how many podcasts. I don't even know how many radio stations I listen to. But I could tell you one thing, and Jeff, you out Midwest area ish also, and I noticed this in Oklahoma too. You can be listening to the radio, and the radio is perfectly clear, and you're just listening, and then the radio station just completely fades out like instantly. Like, where did it go? Like, did it just run out of power? And like, I would change station, and I would find myself again. It almost reminds me of here in the mountains of North Carolina, when you're going in the mountains and you're on this side of the mountain, you got perfect radio signal, but when you're on the other side of the mountain, you don't hear anything. That's what it reminded me of. But I was in the middle of Texas. Like, there was out in the middle of nowhere. Like, there was nothing blocking the signal. It literally felt like the radio waves just said, I'm done. I can't go no further. That's literally what the radio stations felt like to me. Um, and it did it on multiple radio stations. So most of the time when that happened, I would just turn on Pandora or another podcast and keep on going. But it was a very interesting trip. Um, really, really cool. But that's pretty much what I wanted to cover tonight. Like I said, I wasn't feeling a whole lot tonight, and it kind of brightened me up a little bit. Talk about that turkey. That turkey is still fresh in my head, and like I said, I can't really wait to get that video edited for y'all. I do want to put this back up here too before we get off. Um, let's see, share screen. So just before we get off, I always like to put that up here, weather wise. Again, if you're anywhere in the middle section of the country, from Shreveport, Louisiana, all the way up to Canada, Ohio, please be aware tonight. Tonight is not the night to keep your phone on vibrate. Um, I I would have multiple sources of weather um, notifications, because now earlier when I started the live tonight, there was way more red of tornado warnings. Uh, when I started Dyersburg up here in Union City, right, literally right there, which you probably can't see my mouse moving on the screen, but it is where Real Foot Lake is. Uh, they're really getting hammered right now. Uh, Tonight is not the night. This is going to continue on into Nashville and blowing green. This is going to continue all night long, as in 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, they're just starting up over here in South Carolina. So if you over here in Taterville, which too many people wouldn't know what Taterville is, old Clemson Taters. There's some. It's starting to pop up over here for us, especially Asheville. Man, they really need these rains, y'all. Table Rock, over here to the right of Hendersonville, lots of fires up here. I mean, in this devastation of where they had the floods, now they got fires and they're already getting hard to get to because of all the damage from that hurricane. They really need some rain, but yeah, there's so many places down through here that need the rain but don't need the tornadoes. When I hit Alabama, um, Thursday, the smoke from all these fires was unreal. Like there was multiple times that I had to turn on the recirculating on the inside of the vehicle because the smoke was so thick that it was affecting my sinuses. Now, granted, I'm not that old. I sometimes joke around and say I'm old, but if it was affecting me, I can only imagine what it was like on people that have um, breathing difficulties and stuff. And even on into Mississippi, there was fires. So this part of United States definitely 100% need the rain. But over the next couple of days, this is going to be a couple of days of outbreaks. So if you're in any of that area, you need to be paying attention. And if you know anybody in this area, you need to be checking up on them. So just be advised that the South is definitely going to be hammered. So many tornadoes have already ripped through these areas, and I talked about this like last week or the week before. I can't rightly remember. We live in a house, and you're sitting there. Everything, like, let's just take my podcast room here. I got my ducks and stuff on the walls. You know, worked so hard for this house, and we got pictures of the kids, and you just one day gone. Tornado just took it out. And some people say, why'd you build in that area? But Tornado Alley is so big, tornadoes happen everywhere. Hey, we over here in the South and we get tornadoes. So just remember these people's in your thoughts and prayers tonight and this week, because their world is going to be completely changed. Like 100%, their house can be destroyed, all their memorabilia, all their stuff, and it's just stuff. It really is. If your family member didn't die, you can rebuild. You can replace everything. That's not what I'm saying. Y'all understand what I'm saying. Life is more important, but the memories, uh, it could be their workplace. Some of these people are blue collar. They own their own business. Gone, business gone. It's ripping through some of these stores. They ain't even gonna be there no more. So, so many people are affected by these tornadoes. It's just not tearing, trees. It's not just tearing farmland up. It's literally putting people in hardships. Like some of these people wake up tomorrow, go to work, like me. Some of them is gonna wake up and there's gonna be nothing to go to. So over the next couple of days, definitely keep. I would just say the middle of the country uh, in your thoughts and prayers. Definitely. Um, Jeff said, "Congratulations Appreciate it, Jeff. Yes, definitely. We're going to pray for them before we get off for sure. Absolutely, Jeff. That's what I'm saying. You work a lifetime and it's gone. But if you got your family, that's all that matters. But as kids get older, granted, a lot of stuff is digital now, so that's a good thing. You can pull back photos and stuff like that. So that is a plus these days. But yeah, everything your parents are done passed away kind of deal. They leave you stuff, gone, stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of hurt over all these storms. So definitely keep your thoughts in there. But with that being said, also there's going to be so many other people that also will be in danger. First responders, fire, EMS, highway patrol, sheriff's office, the linemen, the people that's going to be putting these power lines back up, people that then run generators, that backfeed. I mean, this is a massive storm that's going to be affecting hundreds of thousands of people. So it's not only remember the people, it's also remember the people that's got to go clean this up. Like, it is going to be something for days. And while they're trying to clean this up, it's going to start back over tomorrow and then Sunday. So this is going to be like a couple of days of outbreaks. So definitely pray for everybody that's involved with this. So um everybody that's listening to this, definitely stay safe. Now is the time. It's that time of the year when tornadoes start. Now is the time to get your stuff together, have a plan, um, time to back stuff up. Don't be the type person, well, I didn't know it was coming. There's plenty of apps out there these days that can tell you, hey, something's coming. And also the younger generation. Yeah, we got older people that's in our family that don't do technology. Pick up the phone and tell them, hey, in an hour, expect strong winds. Hey, in an hour, there's going to be bad weather coming. I do it all the time. I let my friends know, hey, you get busy in life. Hey, you overlook it. I promise you, I will overlook something too. But just live while we were live on this, how much the weather has changed. Um, it doesn't hurt a thing to let people know that danger is coming their way, and it doesn't hurt a thing to check on anybody. Doesn't hurt. If you see somebody in need, your neighbors, 100% stop in. Sometimes, these people, they'll be interviewing them, and they're like, well, I lost everything, but it was great to see the people come help. Sometimes the people that's coming in, they're more worried about trying to get the person and back to normal, and the person's like, hey, I'm just glad to see you. Kind of, they just want to have a conversation. So a lot going on. So that's how it is. I'm glad that everybody tuned in this week. Like always, every Wednesday at 8 o'clock is the YouTube live. So definitely spread that out. Um, I am highly grateful that the channel is growing. Um, Definitely would like to get more people on here on Wednesdays for conversations. So, hey, tell a friend, bring a fan, hijack a friend. Maybe let's don't hijack them, but let's get some people on here Wednesdays. I've definitely reached out to have some guests on for sure. I really enjoy having guests on. So if you know an interesting person that would be great for talking, shoot me an email, um, shoot me their telephone number or something like that. Hit me up on Facebook Messenger. I will be glad to reach out to them. just as most don't want to ask for help, but will take it if offered. Exactly. They're in their worst time, pretty much lost everything. Yeah, they're not asking for anything. But they would definitely would take it. So I greatly appreciate everybody coming on, and I'm just gonna say a prayer before we leave. And so, God, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for the blessings that you give each of us. Thank you for keeping me safe. I was traveling and keeping my family safe. Be with these people that's in these storms. Be with the ones that have already had storms, as in the past week, and then in that past week they got hit with another storm. Some of these places are tornadoes on top of tornadoes, and there's more storms coming. Be with these people. Be with the people that have to be out there helping these people to safety, helping them recover, helping them clean up. Keep them safe. While they are there helping, they also have families. So let us help them and keep them safe as they return home to their families. And thank you for dying on the cross for us and sending your son. And thank you for everything you do. Amen. All right. So greatly appreciate everybody coming on. Be safe. Watch the weather this week. It's going to be crazy. If you're turkey hunting, um, good luck to everybody. Be safe. It is opening weekend in so many different places on public land. Don't shoot into the bushes. I may be that fat guy in the bush behind there. Don't shoot me. Um, don't do nothing crazy. Don't get mad if somebody already beat you out there in the public. It is what it is. It's public. So there's going to be many more birds. Let's just be cautious this week as turkey season starting in a bunch of places. Be safe because I don't want to lose a subscriber, nor do I care to lose the host. So y'all y'all have a good week, and I'll see y'all next week. And here's a word from our sponsors, and I'll see y'all. Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Also, go check out Salt Creek Ammo. This triple curl TSS is some of the best TSS I have ever shot. This is for waterfowl edition. It's made for waterfowl. So if you're going to shoot a species that you've been chasing for a long time, don't use no cheap ammo. You pay good money to go on a trip. You got great guns. Don't cheap out on cheap ammunition. This TSS is amazing. It's got number 7s, number 8s, and he has number 9s. So go check out saltcreekammo.com. Here you will find any kind of ammo you're looking for. He has custom loads, TSS in 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, low pressure ammunition. You got Predator ammunition, turkey ammunition, anything you're looking for, give Keith a call. Also to the channel, Kicks Industries, most people will know them as Kick Chokes, has came on board, and I have done a bunch of series lately on waterfowl choke tubes, turkey choke tubes, deer choke tubes. So go check out Kick's website for all of the chokes that can fit your guns. Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC, has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service, LLC, prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service LLC.